When we had a need, then we have to find a solution, right? The majority of the people that work in companies struggle with budget, with headcounts. And I think one of the good opportunities that we have with AI is like some limitations of that budgets can be overcome, or at least we can leverage a bit of help with AI. Be curious and learn all the time, and to learn things and to evolve to stay relevant. If you want to stay relevant and you want to continue to work on this field and be successful and have job opportunities and do something meaningful, you have to evolve as well with the market.
Welcome to another episode of AI Product Leader. Every week we shine a light on what it really takes to join the AI world. Real conversations with AI builders, founders, product leaders, AI experts, technologists, and everything in between to understand where the AI world is right now and what that path looks like, whether you're building AI products or a career in AI. I'm your host, Polly Allen. I'm the founder of AI Career Boost, where I spend my time helping product managers navigate the world of AI and transition into AI leadership roles where they can thrive leading AI projects. I'm super excited today to be joined by Rebeca Assuncao. She's a senior product leader driving innovation at the intersection of AI, mobility, and no-code tools. With a decade of experience spanning e-commerce, transit tech, and smart cities, she currently leads Neom's digital product team, shaping a seamless AI-powered system for one of the world's most ambitious urban projects, building an entirely new future-forward e-city in Saudi Arabia. We'll hear more about that. Rebeca is known for her hands-on leadership style, building rapid low-code prototypes to accelerate validation while mentoring teams through complex enterprise-scale launches. Beyond work, she's an active investor supporting tech for good ventures in fintech, sustainability, and health. Rebeca, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, Polly. Thanks for inviting me. I'm very excited.
Oh, fantastic. I'm super excited to talk today. So I'm really excited to explore Neom and this whole idea of like a planned futuristic city. But before we get into that, I'd love to hear just a little bit more about you and your background. How did you first even get into this space and tech?
Was by accident, actually. I
Mm,
started as a category manager in retail,
yeah,
working with mobility products
yeah,
like e-scooters and hoverboards and drones.
cool.
And yes, exactly. And then what happened was I start to be more interested in the mobility sector and more as how the mobility will evolve as mobility as a service.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity to work for the there is a company in Portugal
Mm,
to develop an app to pay and access the public transportation.
public
And
transit.
yeah, and actually was when I did the transition between commercial and product. In the
Mm,
beginning, I went for the commercial team, and because it was a very specific product, very regulated,
yeah.
it was in the commercial team. But in the end, I never did commercial work there. I was being involved since the day one on the product, and there I start to actually I migrated to product, and I started to work very closely with my architect at the time, and
Nice.
be really interested in the technical part. And 2 years later, I had the opportunity to move to Dubai to work in the IT team for Emirates Airlines, and I accepted because at the time I see that as a huge opportunity to develop my technical skills.
Hmm.
That thought was what I needed at the time, because I was already a very strong foundation on business and commercial, and I needed to develop some technical skills.
Got
Yeah,
it.
and that happened. So I work with a lot of different engineers and a lot of people, and I think I learned a lot there.
Yeah.
I was working directly and leading some development teams, and so I'll look back now, and I really changed my journey there, right?
Yeah.
I no longer consider myself that like just a business person. I consider myself today a technical product manager because of that experience. I think really shaped my profile.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was working in the very technical area, bookings and manager bookings and check-ins, and so for web page on
Mhm.
Emirates Airlines. And then after 2 years of that experience, I was contacted to for a new project in Saudi Arabia. That is Neom. Who doesn't know about Neom is a smart city that is being
Yeah.
developed in the kingdom. And maybe for who doesn't heard about Neom, you heard probably about the line. That is like this huge city about 170 kilometers, and I thought that that was quite crazy and quite an opportunity, and to live in a community to develop this smart city with other people that are very driven as well.
Yeah.
um, and the most exciting part is I was invited to work on a project that was very similar but in larger scale to what I did in Portugal, was to develop this platform to integrate all the transportation across the region.
Mm,
and uh,
amazing.
and that I found is like, okay, now I understand. If I look back, I understand all my journey, right? I never intend to go into tech. I just follow my heart in terms of what was like driving me at the time and what I was passionate about,
Hmm.
and a bit go with the flow, what I like, I'm liking to do and what I'm excited to do. And I really loved the project that I was doing in Portugal. But then when I joined Neom, I look at myself, okay, now I'm more capable, right? Because okay, I have the experience to of this kind of products, but now I'm like 300 times more technical, right? I've gained these skills,
Right.
and I've gained these skills, and now I'm able to work on these like larger scale projects with all the business knowledge that I have
Yeah.
because of what I did in Portugal, and with new skills. Yeah, and I packed my things in Dubai and I moved to Neom, where I live and work. It's a bit weird. The lifestyle is like is not for everyone, of course. We basically live in a community where we go dinner, and our bosses or colleagues that we have a meeting are like having dinner at the same time.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
yeah, and the things to do are very limited
Right.
because there is nothing around. We only
Hmm.
have the facilities of the camp, like a pool or a gym or like the dining hall, and nothing else. And we travel a lot. It's a different lifestyle, but it's like it's an opportunity to build something different and something great, and it's a life opportunity. So I think everyone that moves to Neom is for a specific time
Yeah.
because of the quality of living, but it's an opportunity that comes maybe one time in a lifetime,
In
right?
the
So
lifetime to go and be on the forefront of developing something from scratch. That's so
yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
this is what motivates me to move to Neom. And yeah, I've been there now for 2 years and a half, and I'm leading the product team for the mobility sector. In the mobility sector, we take care of all the transportation to the region, and I am in the digital team that support the operators and operations teams with some systems. And basically, I have a very different products that I'm working on. I have this, for example, mass application to book and manage mobility services. I have RTPI systems with the real-time information. I have asset management platform. So it's very different, the
Hmm.
kind of products that I'm working on. Some of them are enterprise products, other them are B2C products. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting because it's not my days are different, like my hours are different. In one morning, I'm working on four different products, and my
Oh,
mind is always shifting very fast.
shifting gears.
Yes, yes, it's quite crazy actually. And our team is quite small, right?
Yeah.
So we also have to rely a lot on in external partners
Mm.
for development as well. And also we have to integrate a lot of existing products, etc. But of course, the strategy and everything is in our team, right? Is in
Yeah.
Neon.
Yeah.
That means that a lot of work in terms of product management is in house, right?
Right.
Because even if you, no matter who is going to develop the product, if it's external, how the strategy and then the alignment with the stakeholders, and then right, all the requirements and all the design are in house, right? And then you have to pass to the contractor, and then you have to review
To the
everything. So
contractor. Gotcha. So
yeah,
you have a lot
so
of contractors doing the actual like execution, engineering, build piece. Is that it?
yeah, yeah, a lot. And some of the, and it's a mix of development outside of out
Yeah.
of the shelf, and we also develop some stuff inside as well.
Yeah.
So it's really diverse the way we deliver products. But Also because some more specific products, for example, asset management platform, there is a lot of players in the market, for example, IBM, that do
Yeah.
it very well. So why are we going to reinvent the wheel, right? So
Right.
and we have a license for this kind of products.
Yeah.
Other things, we have the need of being more customized. For
Okay.
example, our mobility
Yeah.
platform, right?
Yeah.
And or application to the end user, so
Yeah.
that we actually do it like in a customized way for ourselves. Or
For
for
yourself.
example, the RTPI system
Yeah.
was made in house.
TPI. What's TPI?
RTPI is a real-time passenger information system.
Oh.
So it's like to display the information to the passengers. And
Yeah.
actually, our
Mm.
proof of concept was done inside.
Yeah.
Proof of concept that is live actually, and
Hmm.
now we want to scale, and we're going to subcontract. But actually, it was made with 2 or 3 people: myself, one engineer, and one architect, for example. Right? So
Oh,
it's like,
okay. Really
yeah.
scrappy.
So we are very hands-on when we need to do when we need to be as well.
Yeah.
And my day or days in my
Yeah.
entire digital team is very diverse.
I can see that you must be zooming from like you're leading a team and now you're like, but we're building a prototype. Like
Yes,
you're doing
yes,
a
I do
dedication.
everything. I
Yeah.
I always I always joke that the only thing that is missing to do is to clean the bathroom as well in the office, because
Sounds like product management, really. It's like get
yes, as
everything
well.
done.
But I think it's always been like that my career, but now is like in another level. Basically, for example, at 9 a.m. I'm discussing something with my executive director, and I'm going like a very strategic work.
Yeah.
And next hour, I'm discussing like API level with the with the engineer in my team. So
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
it's to end completely. It's
Completely.
end to
That's
end
right.
the work.
You own everything, right? And so you have to do what you have to do. I have so many questions. It's so interesting to me that when you've got an initiative like this, you're in on the ground floor of something that's starting from scratch, but thinking about leverage all the latest advancements, let's think future forward about both our processes and what we're building in an e-city like this. Can you go into a little bit? You just mentioned that trade-off of build versus buy, and I think so many people are grappling with this right now. Where is that line that you would say we're going to develop this in-house? Is it just purely about the customization that you need, or is there more to that decision?
No, so I actually have some frameworks for that, but I think there is a couple of criteria that
Mhm.
are important for these decisions, right?
Yeah.
The first one is like, do you know how to do this? So,
Yeah. Do we have the skills
right,
in-house? Yeah.
do we have the resources, not only number of people, but the expertise?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ourselves, in this case, my digital team, because also we are small, we are digital specialists, right? We have some mobility specialists, but in general, I'm not a mobility specialist, I'm a digital specialist, right?
Right.
And there is some products that are really specific on transportation,
Yeah.
and there is outside companies that do it very well.
Right.
For example, I'm not going to build a map from scratch, right? There
Yeah.
is a lot of providers. We have GIS, for example, right? Like
Mhm.
there is
Yeah.
someone that is doing very well uh, this kind of product. So we are not going to build them. So
Yeah.
this is the first important thing. Then is the time, right? The timeline. It's really important.
Yeah.
When do you need this?
Yeah.
The cost, of course.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
cost is really important, and then the complexity,
Mm.
because the level of customization, right?
Yeah.
That's really important as well. On and then with all these criteria, we have also we have to take another decision. Okay, if we're going to build ourselves,
Yeah.
we are going to build ourselves, or are going to subcontract someone to do it for us. And
Yeah.
then some products are we going to buy or going to rent it, right?
Yeah.
Like by license. So that is and this is actually becomes a very messy architecture.
You're always adding complexity you can't necessarily simplify when you
Yeah, it's
add.
really complex, and for an organization like Neom that is big but is a startup at the same time,
Yeah.
but also is a startup that is like semi-governmental, I would
Right, because
say.
it's funded originally by the crown princess, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
by the military fund of Saudi Arabia. The procurement process, of course, are very exigent. right? And because of that are also slow.
Yeah.
So for example, when you are with a very tight timeline, do you have to put this in consideration, right? Yeah, and that can define what we're going to do, at least of a first instance. Maybe in a first version we can do it ourselves to have
Hmm.
the product shipped faster, and then maybe when we want to scale and build something more robust and with other qualities, then we can go to the market,
Gotcha.
right? So I also have to do that part of procurement
Yeah.
process, and
Exactly.
that's also quite a hard work, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure,
Yeah.
exactly. So you're pulling a lot of levers, but you do have a team, right? How do you think about like structuring your team in the situation where you've got a small team, you're funded well, but you need to be scrappy. You need to be able to integrate, do a lot of integrations. Does that affect how you think of like the structure? Is product management centrally managed, or do you have individual teams where the product
Yeah.
managers sit with engineers? How do you think of
The
that structure?
the product team is really small.
Yeah.
And when I started, I was the first hire. So in the
Mhm.
beginning, I was alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
that's
then
easy to structure.
because also it's a new company, right?
Yeah.
So and so it's smaller than the normality. I will not say
Yeah.
what we need, because also we can talk later, but actually AI will help me a lot on that as well, leveraging AI for that. If I had a bigger team, maybe I'll not have leverages as much as AI
Yeah. Oh,
I
I
did
see what you
until
mean.
now, right?
Now you're
Because
taking advantage more of AI
exactly,
because
because when we had a need, then we have to find a solution, right?
yep.
Everyone, majority of the people that work in companies struggle with budgets, right, and with headcounts,
Yeah.
and I think one of the good opportunities that we have with AI is like some limitations of that budgets, or that have headcounts can be overcome, or at least we can leverage a bit of help with AI.
Yeah. But let's dive into this because I think this is so interesting how you're leveraging AI. You have the freedom to do that in order to be scrappy and get more done. How has AI changed your processes, changed how your team works? How are you leveraging it to get more out of the team?
So I think there is a couple of things that I really used the past maybe 2 years and more the last 1 year and a half with more focus. The first thing is that I can really change everything with these procurement processes. Even before we writing like requirements and do the design and all this fun part, when we have to go to the market, and I had to go to the market with a lot of products that I never heard before, right? That I
Yeah.
never worked before. For example, I didn't work never with the asset management platform. This is very
Right.
specific.
Right.
There is asset management specialists actually,
Hmm.
and AI really helped me with a lot of product specifications, right?
Yeah.
I already had an understanding of my enterprise architecture, right? And so I was able actually to leverage to help me to take like the best decisions and to understand like what kind of features I will need, what kind of suppliers will meet my needs,
Hmm.
and actually how I can like write the specifications to go to the market that really, because these contracts are really important for us. They lock us,
Yeah.
right? For years.
Yeah.
So we really want, when we go to the market and we close a contract, even maybe there is some flexibility later on some one requirement or another one. I
Mhm.
don't have the luxury to define all the requirements with the business teams before going to the market.
Right.
Normally needs to be a little bit high level. So this work needs to be with high quality. Otherwise we incur in the huge risks, right?
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, so AI really helped me to do this, because it's like huge amount of work we need to do in terms of research on not only functional but actually technical
Mhm.
requirements.
Yep.
So
Do
I
you have a favorite tool or favorite model for that? Is there one
yeah,
in particular?
in the beginning I was using a lot ChatGPT for that.
Yep.
This is what I was using for, and so this is a really thing that really improve and make me save a lot of time, and also on prototyping,
Mhm. Yeah.
because even not only to, it's not much more about like to explain requirements,
Yeah.
because I didn't use much for that. I use more as well also to, for example, sell things. or explain things to the senior leaders, right? Because and also to prove, for example, that some supplier were more like was too expensive or were too slow, or that was trying to overcomplicate some feature, right?
Gotcha.
Because and very quickly I could by myself create some prototype that was working.
Hmm.
For example, the first one that I was testing and I created was like a very small, easy kind of booking website
Yeah.
to explain like how it works, because of course booking is a big component of mobility, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was some like yeah, where like we were struggling a little bit to define like how we're going to build this, if we're going to build this in house, if we're going to like just go to the market and pick up, if our current provider will be able to do this, how could we respond to a specific need of a region, in that case that a region needed a product in a very short timeline, a product. And these prototypes really help me to explain
Yeah.
that some stuff didn't want to be like doesn't need to be so complicated and
Nice.
takes so time a long time, right? Because I wanted to ship faster, right? I
Yeah.
want to provide like value to my customers, internal customers, quickly, right? And sometimes when we have a small team and small resources, it's like these tools help us to just complicate the things and say, look, we can do this, team, we
Yeah.
can do this. See, I did this in 5 minutes, so
Hmm.
with your expertise now we can do it better, so let's do it together. So
Amazing.
yeah, I really use this as well for that.
So
I
it seems
think
like prototyping has become one of those just essential things that's massively accelerating your team. Is that
yes, and
incredible?
actually, and also for fun. For
Yeah.
example,
Oh, for
just
fun.
a joke, we create me and a colleague, very senior colleague, really senior. So we is like a website to book camel drivers. Just as a joke in Saudi Arabia. Ooh, this will be a good business idea. So
Ah,
also it's a good fun time in our team
hey,
to
put a
just
Stripe payroll on that early. It seems
exactly
like
just create fun products. But actually, it's like that you think we learn more. We
yeah,
have fun and collaborate with our colleagues. So,
absolutely. What are some of your favorite prototyping tools?
yeah, I think the at the moment my favorite is Lovable, that I had the opportunity to explore more in your course.
Yeah,
And now like I'm not saying I'm not addicted, of course, but I have always new ideas, and I always want to explore like more stuff and go there and see what I can do there. But actually the first time that I create a super simple prototype was with cloud, because
yeah.
even in cloud, if you want something very
Oh,
simple, if you want very simple, and if you want to experiment for the first time, you can use cloud for
yeah,
that, right? And I remember the first time that I created my first prototype in cloud, I was really excited. I created the compound interest calculator, and
yeah.
yeah, and that was like, whoa, actually, so this is incredible. This was already a long time ago, actually, if you think about it. It was,
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe 1 year and a half ago now. And but now I think these tools like Lovable and are becoming like so good and so
yeah.
fast, and we can
Makes sense.
create amazing things very quickly.
So I have a question. Are you guys incorporating AI into your production products as well? We talked about AI prototyping, but there must be also places where you're adding AI into the systems that you're building.
Yes,
And
exactly. This is a good point. I think the AI like in for Neom as a whole,
yeah,
because the concept is create a cognitive city, is crucial. It's a very interesting topic because the region Saudi is in
hmm,
AI. There is a lot of investments. There is a lot of startups in the region
yeah,
doing amazing things with AI, and and our area mobility is not an exception. And in right now this AI component is more at the strategic level because
Okay.
we're not there like in implementation,
Yeah.
but is in the planning. For example, because everything is so connected, and we want to provide like the best integrative experience to the users. AI can be like very useful. We
Hmm.
don't want to just do like simple recommendation engines like today in the market. We really want that someone that lives or visits Neom is not never again stressed with transportation.
All right.
Stress with transportation. I
That's
think
the
I
vision.
it's like I can, yeah, it's like I can it's like the most seamless experience possible. And
Hmm.
that, for example, can reflect in like there is some cancellation, for example,
Yeah.
and
Right. Gotcha.
we didn't even notice there is a cancellation. The
Yeah.
system already found an alternative, book for yourself, updated everything, and when you see, you have like a new plan for you that is completely adjusted to your schedule, to your needs, to your preferences,
Nice.
to your routes. So no disruption and traceability, because
Yeah.
trust and reliability is critical in transportation, right?
For sure.
On being
Yes,
on
yes.
time is like,
Exactly. No, and
yeah,
this affects your money or and your life, right? This is
yeah,
real
exactly.
world stuff.
So this is the vision. Of
Yeah.
course, from where we are until the vision, there is a lot of work to do. Not because of AI itself,
Yeah.
it's because of the market itself. Transportation is a very traditional
Yeah.
sector.
Regulated
Uh,
for good reason.
yes, of course. Also, it's very complex because we are not talking about software as a service. You know, we are talking about real fleet. We have buses on the we have buses, we have cars, we have
Yeah.
ferries, we have autonomous cars, we have, so it's actually there is a lot of hardware involved as well.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of integrations as well. There is a lot of legacy systems
Hmm.
of operators in these vehicles.
Yeah.
So all these pieces need to connect for this vision to overcome. So it's very challenging, right?
Yeah.
Because my system in house can be amazing, but if it
Yes.
doesn't integrate with the system that is in the bus, will
Absolutely.
not happen.
That's
So
right.
there is a big work to do. Of
Yeah.
course, in the day to day, with the data team as well, that is in our digital team, we also uh, try to use AI to help us to predict demand and to
Hmm.
help to plan better the fleet that is need. That is something that we can do right now, because only depending on ourselves, right? It's not about integrating. And I believe that one area that will be maybe the first one that we can deploy AI in mobility, for example, is in sorry, I is in assets, is
Assets.
in
Okay.
assets management, in
Gotcha.
terms of conditioning and predictive. That actually is huge and is very important because save a lot of money in
Yeah.
the end. All these, we have real products, right? And we have like all these is it's very impactful on the options, right?
Yeah. Operations. Absolutely.
Yeah, so because
Yeah.
in the
So
end we are here to serve clients and internal clients, and all these can save a lot of money. So
completely
I think that AI in this area will be like very important and one of the first ones to be deployed.
deployed, right? Because you guys have control over the whole ecosystem. That's what's
Yes,
so unique and
exactly. All
fascinating,
the
right?
fleets,
You see
right?
how
And
far
the,
we have to go before we could equip a whole fleet of city buses in any large city with the right software to actually really sync up and work properly with
yes.
any kind of.
For example, I think would be it's very interesting as well to prevent accidents on the roads, right? That's actually, I think that kind of use cases will be very important for Neom,
Yeah,
and will have a huge impact, right? Because if we can save lives and if we can like improve the safety of the roads,
yeah.
it's like amazing AI use case that we can do it, right? And yeah, and I think this is a huge opportunity over there.
Fantastic. It's so exciting to see that being built from the ground up right
The
now.
use cases are so many that I could spend like hours speaking with you about where we can apply AI
Yeah,
here, like.
exactly.
Yeah.
and that they're excited and willing to do it. But I love, especially that example of a cancellation happening and you don't even know. It's really illustrative of that idea of like there is no UX to that. It's all happening behind the scenes, right? The agentic systems are coordinating new travel arrangements and things, and so it's seamless from your perspective. The new UI,
Yeah.
no UI, I hope.
Yes.
Fascinating. Speaking of UI, you also did some more prototyping that I'd love to go into as well, specifically for managing your work as a product manager. Can you tell us a little bit about the work you've done in terms of internal road mapping and things like that, the prototype you built for that?
Yeah, of course. So actually, I developed this product in your course, right? When I was in your course, this was my final project, and then I was doing that. There is a lot of topics that I was interested, but actually, I decided to create something that I can use at my work, and I think was a very good experience, and there was a very good outcome. That actually, when I'm come back to work from my maternity leave, I've already agreed with the senior leadership that we are going to work to deploy internally, like, and because what I did was I created a tool basically to automate the roadmap creations and like improve the alignment on the teams, and actually yeah, and I think that it is very useful as well, to help, for example, to onboard new people to the product team, right? Because that tool is a centralized tool when we actually can save data about your strategy
Right?
of your team, and you can ask questions to the AI assistant about your strategy itself, and how you can like move forward with your product according with that strategy. And the idea is that evolve that product for that for that the AI assistant be able to identify road blockers, and actually to have some analytics to help you to predict which kind of future features you should include in the product.
Yeah.
So I think it's like is something that can help as well, on alignment in the teams, especially because
Hmm.
I don't work in a company that is product oriented.
Right.
As you can see, it's very operations and business oriented.
Got it. Yeah.
And also the country itself is like that, not
Mm,
only the company, and the market transportation is like that as well, because it's not a software as a company, right? And so have this kind of tools, I think it helps to build this, or help me to on my ongoing work of building this product culture, because then we make everyone talking about the same thing, right? And
mhm.
enable people to ask questions and to use more data and to check metrics
Yeah.
instead of just guesswork, right?
Nice. Exactly.
And that's yeah, and that's the goal. And it was very interesting because I built this product all alone using Lovable
Lovable. Yeah.
as my UI, and actually I did some backend work as well there.
You connected to a
And
super base backend, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then was very interesting because I actually use Firebase. I actually use
Okay.
Firebase for
Oh,
that. Yeah, and I never before that I never created the database alone by myself, right? And was very interesting to create this product from scratch, and to actually connect my product to a database, and to
yeah.
connect the product to ChatGPT as well, to OpenAI,
Hmm.
where I leverage the LLM system from AI to provide the AI assistant chatbot for my website. And was incredible what we can do today with one person or a few resources.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, I was very fulfilled.
I love the workflow of this where you can enter the strategy and then it will actually present a now, next, later suggestions in terms of recommending a roadmap. And then that ability to chat with your roadmap. I just thought that was something that there's been a lot of attention on unblocking ourselves as like the person in charge of these things. How much time day to day do product leaders spend answering questions about like, yes, we would do that. No, we wouldn't. No, that doesn't align with your strategy. And now you've got somewhere where your team can come and like chat with the roadmap and understand a little more directly, not just a document somewhere that you have to keep that you have to keep up to date. So I thought it was such a compelling use case. That's fantastic. Well, it's been such a transformation. There's actually two key pieces in your journey, Rebecca, turning our attention to your trajectory that I'd love to dive into before we wrap up. And one of them was, it seems like it was a really key move when you moved to Emirates Airlines and were working in IT, coming from a more like, hey, I'm a category manager, business person, and really deepening your tech skills. What advice do you have for people who want to learn on the job, get deeper into tech, for how to keep your eye out for those kinds of roles, and how to successfully land roles where you'll be able to actually deepen your technical expertise in the first place?
Yeah. The first thing is, I would say that is like you have to understand that your business knowledge is very valuable, right?
Yeah.
Because our work is actually to translate these business concepts into some technical outcomes, right? And if
Hmm.
you don't understand well and the business rules, you don't add value, right? And with all this AI evolution, if you don't have this foundation, this knowledge, I think will be replaced very easily,
Crazy.
right?
Yeah.
This part of like everything, building, shipping and building products will be easier, right? So if you still hold these advantages of really understand
The
the
problem,
business
the
part, right?
people. Yeah.
Problem, and be able to like, if before you write requirements, now you write prompts, right? It's kind of you have to be specialist in the problem and providing context. And if you are good on translating like and writing these requirements and understanding what users, clients, business want, and explain these concepts, because you can explain these concepts to a developer, but you can explain these concepts to a LLM, right?
Yes.
It's kind
Yeah.
of
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
very similar, right? So you have to really good on this context or prompt engineering,
Yeah.
right? You have to be really good on that. And also I would say that so this is kind of, I think, how you stay relevant.
Hmm.
But how you move there, how you move like to there, I think I would give two advice. The first one is be curious and like learn all the time, because this is what, like, I
Hmm.
think make the difference on my career, right? I'm always learning, and it's very like natural on me to learn things and to evolve to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Because if like our areas are evolving, product development are evolving so much and changing so much, if you want to stay relevant and want to continue to work on this field and be successful and have job opportunities and do something meaningful, you have to evolve as well with the market. Otherwise, you are going to stagnate, right? And also you have to like know how to speak technically with your team. If you move to a new country, you also be more successful if you learn a new language, right?
Yeah.
It's something,
Absolutely.
if you want to move to IT, you don't need to know how to code. If now even less, right? Because of all these tools. But you need to understand what people are talking about. You have to speak the language.
That's right.
And despite you're not coding, you don't need to code. With all this AI, there's some stuff that is going to be simpler. For example, create a prototype, but there is stuff that is going to be more complex. The architecture of the products are more complex.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand how all these products come to life, and if you are not able to talk with your technical teams, you are not never going to make it, right? You're not going to understand. You're not going to enter in the room.
Totally.
So I do feel that for product management, these days are like kind of two paths, or to be like stay relevant, or you become like a specialist in grow, right? And you really dive into metrics and how to convert and how to sell more basically, or you become a technical
Right.
product manager.
Was it a business
That's
specialist
that
or deeper into?
Yes, yes, because the middle will disappear.
Interesting.
I would say that, but
Yeah.
I think that because it's very easily to be replaced these days.
That's right. All
And
the sort of
so,
execution based stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And on my case, what I did is like actually interact a lot with technical team. I remember, for example, in my previous job in Portugal, yes, I interact a lot with my architect, and I start to understand really well actually how you translate these like business rules and business concepts and business flows into an architecture of the product.
Yeah.
of a product, right? If I want, for example, to validate a ticket, actually how this works, right?
Yeah.
Which machine integrates with, well, remember that at the beginning was very basic for me. Okay, how this machine integrates with the machine that is in the bus was really basic because I was from business, right? And then time to time I came more fluent. But when I entered in Emirates, I really remember my first day and was really heavy technically because the majority of like this my area was booking
Mhm.
engine,
Okay.
so majority of the work, like 80% of the work, is back end,
Mm.
and everyone was technical. Everyone, even the product managers, majority of them were have growth into the role from development, and I was probably the only one in that team that was from business. And when I started, I look at the product manager and I thought, I don't need to speak with them, my colleagues. Forget. I will keep up. I will learn the product with the time.
Yeah.
What I need to do is to understand what other people are talking about because it's for me.
A new language. Okay.
So yeah, so since the first day, I was always asking questions and working very closely with the solutions architect and with the developers
Yeah.
because I really wanted to understand how all these that systems were working. And at the time it was very complex because we were integrating more than 200 platforms, so was quite big.
A lot. Your brain
So
hurts when
yeah,
you come to
yeah,
come up from a day of learning all
exactly.
this new stuff. But I think that's so key that, like, especially for folks who are less technical, there's a certain bravery needed to just keep asking questions and stay in the room and just accept, hey, this isn't my language yet, but I'll get there. It's an uncomfortable place to be at first. People don't love, you have to push yourself
it's
outside your comfort zone, but
it's very
we're,
difficult, and in the end, and I was not comfortable all the time, and I knew that I was the outsider, the
yeah.
only one non-technical, and I'll never be for the rest of the room. I'll never be technical enough, right? Because they were also technical. But you know what, now I move for a more like senior role and I'm in other position, and now it's funny because a lot of people see me as a technical person,
Right.
and I'm not even technical, right? I don't
Quote
consider myself
unquote.
a technical person, right? I'm a person that actually can speak technically, but my background is not technical, right? So actually it's perspectives as well.
Yeah.
So then when you move, so maybe the struggle is worth it, and then when you come outside for a more product generic role,
Yeah.
then you will be comfortable, right? Because then you can speak both languages,
Exactly.
like
Exactly. And
business and,
translate.
and technical, right?
Fantastic. So that's some really great advice for folks who want to lean into being more technical. And now, let's talk a little bit more about getting AI savvy. So you've obviously made this journey to a point where you're working on these super futuristic platforms where you're planning out agentic AI deployments. You're running a shop where you're putting out prototypes either for your internal use cases, for your PM team, or prototypes for your users. How did you get there? When you first started getting interested in AI, how did you make that leap into AI mastery?
I think, first of all, I don't think there is any concept of AI mastery because every day there is a new thing. So sometimes is that I have to remember to not overwhelm myself with new concepts, right?
Absolutely.
Because every time is a new thing, right?
Right.
And actually it's very, in the other day I read something that I think it's very relevant for a
Mhm.
product manager. We don't need to dominate all the tools and to, you know what I mean, and to know how to build every flow, and to that's not the goal. We
Right.
really need to understand how these systems like work,
Yeah,
because if we understand that, we can actually define product in AI, right?
absolutely.
Because every tool will have a specification, but also you are not going to be the person that's going to build all the products. We'll have hopefully a team for that, right? So
Yes.
you have to understand how to build products in this new context. And I think how I've been doing until now is the same way I did when I need to be more technical, right? I just stay curious. It's just try. Is that instead now was not so much asking, was more like let's let's try, let's explore, right? And now instead of actually is asking, but instead of I was asking to developers, asking a lot to AI itself, right? For example, when the first, like, when I was building that roadmap website
Yeah.
platform, at some point I was talking like with three different chatbots, right? Because I was like talking with Gemini to set up the Firebase database. At the same time, I was like talking with the chat in the Lovable. At the same time, with ChatGPT for the overall strategy, and went checking the responses of each other. So it's like I was
Mhm.
talking with three different people, I would
Yeah,
say.
exactly. You
So,
built a swarm.
so I think it just like try, because I'm not saying that it is easy,
Yeah,
no, and actually there is some kind of gymnastics that we need to do in terms of the amount of information. And again, if the you're being able to speak technically is really important, right? Because they will guide you, but they will not do all the work for you, right? So you need to understand what they are,
what they're
what
the language.
what the language, right? And but in the end, there is a lot of information, right? And if you explore and try and be hands-on, I think every day will be easier, basically. I
Going
think
hands-on.
every time there is coming like a need, let's try to do this in a different way, right? And
Yeah.
maybe let's not try to build a website in the beginning. No, let's start from who doesn't do anything. Okay, let's start to write the user stories with AI. How actually can
Mm.
I leverage these, right?
Yeah,
Can I do this?
yeah, absolutely. So
How can
start
I
with the most obvious simple things you can do even in ChatGPT.
exactly? How can I do a product specification that before I was thinking, even when I was in Emirates, it was like 2 years and a half ago.
Yeah,
I was spending days writing user stories and product specifications. Now I don't do that. I spend hours.
yeah,
It's really different, and how we can do this, but with quality, right? Because not supposed to just ask, for example, ChatGPT to write specification for these and just let it go. No, of course you have to put your knowledge and you have to revise and you have to. It's an assistant. It's not supposed to do all the work.
yeah.
Yeah, but I do think it's like just like trying every day and trying to improve and actually asking as well. One of the things we work with AI to get better as well, right?
Yeah, using it as a thought partner.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And for
where you
example, one of the techniques that I really like to use with working with this kind of tools is like is go by parts, right? Because then we can build on top,
yeah,
right? When I'm building a product specification, I don't ask him to build a product specification, right?
right.
And then I start working on some component, and then I start to build from there. And I think that's very important. Like it's a good technique.
Starting small but thinking big.
Exactly, exactly. Starting small and starting to build like on top, yeah, of that.
Fantastic. So if you were talking to someone who is, they're adept at software product management, but they aren't familiar with AI, particularly generative AI, they want to get started right away tomorrow, what would you tell them to do?
Go to cloud and ask cloud to build an app on something.
Oh, cool.
Any
Yeah,
app, build an app to tell me the weather, something like that,
yeah, something
and
simple.
just see what he creates. Because when you see a small possibility, then your brain is going to open and you're going to say, oh my God, I just did it 1 second.
Yeah,
If I actually dive in and dedicate time and try every day to improve, whoa, in 1 month I will build something great, for example.
right.
So I think just try and see the possibilities, because these days the possibilities are enormous. I cannot even believe what the this area change or the world change in 2 years.
Fantastic. Well, such great advice. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And it's been so great having someone on that who's right at the vanguard of this future forward thinking and building these technology teams from the ground up that have permission and the mandates to really be on the cutting edge. So thanks again for coming. We're down to our last section to wrap up, which is plugs. So, Rebecca, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, if they're interested in the project that Noam's doing, or transportation, getting more technical, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, of course. You can find me on LinkedIn.
Fantastic.
My LinkedIn is Rebeca Assuncao.
Awesome.
Yes, and
Fantastic.
we can speak over there.
Excellent. From my side, I always like to plug our free masterclass. So if you are interested in being like Rebecca on the forefront of AI and leading product teams that are both AI enabled and are building AI powered products, please do attend that masterclass. We'll be covering the skills you need to thrive as an AI leader. Thanks so much again for joining us, Rebecca. And that's another episode of AI Product Leader. We'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.